Hello, welcome to Non-Dual Christianity. In this video, I want to explore another assumption about what we really want, and that is that we want heaven. By heaven, what I mean is this idea that we have some sort of an end game or an end state, a place where we can arrive and stay there. I want to explore whether this is even a possibility by looking at some of the evidence around creation around us, and then even if it was, would we really want that? So first, is this even possible? If we look at the world around us, creation, form, one thing that is striking to me is that everything is always changing. It's always moving, always in motion. And this idea that something can remain fixed, that something can end, that there's some sort of a finality to it, doesn't really seem to be the case. If we not only consider that God is present or immanent within all things, and that the divine nature is giving rise to, sustaining, and then dissolving all things back into itself, right? That's a little bit of a metaphysical layer. Looking at creation itself, what we know from science, everything moves. We have water cycles. We have these planets that are moving around each other. We have stars dying. We have stars being born. We have water flowing from high to low. We have even the relational dynamism between people, emotions, and even things that appear to be fixed, solid matter, rocks, stones. When we actually look at the molecules within them, we find that they're mostly, if not almost all, empty space. Things are motion, energy, flux, and flow. There's no such thing as this fixed state. And I even think that Ecclesiastes talks about this a little bit with this idea that not only are things cyclical, there's a time for everything, but even that chasing after any one particular thing is chasing after vapor. It's chasing after mist or nothingness. And by that, what I mean is the permanence. Nothing lasts, right? So as soon as you might obtain something, it will flow and it will disappear. So nothing's permanent. And if we can give up that idea that there is a permanent, that there is an end state, a fixed state, like heaven or hell or anything like that, then I think we can release ourselves from moving towards something which doesn't even exist in the first place, because the world of form is not permanent. Second, would you actually want to arrive in that state if it were possible? And I would say that no, we don't. So consider this with me for a minute. Let's say that you were trapped, either in paradise, which is what we all want, right? But if we pick up the one end of the stick that we could be trapped in paradise, we could also be trapped in hell. So that idea of being trapped, of being fixed in an end state where things don't change, that sounds actually kind of horrible to me when I think about it. This is similar to the assumption that we would rather know than not know, right? There's something that is not actually desirable about having everything fixed, figured out, and known. That really what we're looking for is to experience each moment, to even have the mystery or the surprise of each moment, but we want to make sure that we're safe in the middle of that, right? So this idea of being trapped or predictable is not really what we're looking for. And whether we're more oriented towards pursuing being trapped in paradise, or perhaps like me, who are more oriented towards the fear of being trapped in an undesirable situation, that desire of trapped or avoidance of trapped is very motivating. And even if we're looking at that more from the after we die perspective, which is the focus of much of the Christianity I grew up with, there's still a psychological consistency. Because if the nature of reality is that you could be trapped, then who's to say it can't happen now, in this life? And you see, now if I can be trapped in a situation in this life, I have to watch myself. I have to make sure that I'm doing things correctly, because otherwise I could be trapped in a bad situation. The irony is, in order to avoid being trapped, what I find myself doing is trying to resist or control the flow of life events. So, in a very odd way, because I fear being trapped, I am going to try to resist change. When in reality, the change itself should be evidence that there's no such thing as trapped. Everything flows. And the most probable way of getting trapped is to resist the change, whereas embracing change, there's no trapped. I don't know if that makes sense or not, hopefully. So we don't have to fear screwing something up and being trapped now. And we don't have to obsess or pursue this imagined thing which will make everything better. Be trapped in paradise, be trapped in a wonderful retirement, right? Because nothing is fixed. So what are we really looking for then if we don't actually want an end state? Well, I think what we're looking for is we're looking for safety. We're looking for a sense that we'll be okay. We're looking for joy. We're looking for peace. And we're looking for that in the midst of whatever present moment we're experiencing. So if we're not really looking for the world around us to be a certain way, if that's not possible, that fixed state, then perhaps it would be helpful if we look elsewhere. What if we looked inside to our own nature? Can we find the place where we already know that we are at peace, where we already know that we're safe? And from that fixed state of being, from our essence, we can then move into the unfixed world around us. The change and the form and all of the joy and experience that is us and around us. Hopefully that is helpful, and I appreciate you exploring that with me today.